Hello, hello! I mentioned in a previous vlogs that if these vlogs are going to become a thing, you need to get used to the evening vibe, because that's the only time I really have to film. I'm going to add on to that and say you should also get used to the wet hair vibe, because I take my showers in the evenings, and it coincides with it being the only time for me to film, so here we are. My arm. I get pains in my wrist, which is why I have the vertical mouse, and so I wear this when I am in pain with my wrist. I don't know what it is. I went to the doctor and they basically told me to take painkillers. They didn't really say anything beyond that, so that's very helpful. But this helps, so that's that. I just finished editing a tutorial, and just the tutorial part of that video was 24 minutes long. It's for this bracelet, by the way. I'll leave the link to the pattern and the tutorial, if this is posted after, in the description. I still need to film the intro and the outro, and also the sponsored bit, because that video is sponsored. And it's actually a sponsor I'm very excited to work with. It's my first time working with like a big name sponsor that you probably heard of like a million times from other YouTubers, and I'm very excited about it. I will not lie, I'm very excited about it. I've never done this before. The way, like I've done sponsors before, but the way that this sponsor works, because they're like, I've done it a million times, they're very like professional. They sent me like a whole kit with like explanations about like what the brand is about, like how they want to represent themselves. It was great, I loved it. Whereas the sponsors that I've worked with previously, I felt like I had more experience with the sponsorships and stuff than them. Like I felt like I was explaining to them a lot about like how this stuff works. Not all of them, but like the majority of them. Anyway, I'm really excited about this sponsored video. But I'm also kind of nervous. Anyway, I need to film that tomorrow. I don't have time today, but I need to film the intro, outro, and the sponsored bit for this tutorial. 24 minutes. It was 24 minutes, just the tutorial. I forgot how much work tutorials are to film and edit. My God, I spent like 3 days editing this. Yeah, these vlogs are just kind of like catch-ups for me, and also just an opportunity for me to talk things out. I posted a video today about the mental health and cross-stitch chat, which, by the way, the comments on that warmed my heart. Thank you so much for your lovely comments. They're so nice. And that video was like 30 minutes long, and I kept like apologizing throughout the video. They're like, oh, I'm so sorry that I'm posting these like super long videos. I know that nobody really cares about them. You guys told me off. You said that you are wrong. We actually enjoy these longer videos, and stop apologizing. So this vlog is probably going to be long as well. And I'm not going to apologize for it. So there you go. This candle is dying out. I need to get that replaced because I really always have a candle going. I really enjoy my cozy vibes, and candles add to that. So we have a candle going at all times. What else did I want to talk about? I wanted to start my Patreon not-along bracelet, because we are doing an alpha bracelet this month. And we haven't done an alpha bracelet yet, so I'm very interested about how that's going to turn out. If you have no idea what I'm talking about, once a month with my patrons I do a mystery bracelet not-along, in which I post bits of the pattern without revealing the full pattern itself, and we knot those sections together as we go along, and then in the end we have a finished product, and I'm the only one who actually knows what the pattern is. So I need to get that started, but it's like 10 PM at this point. I'm not doing that today. I'm going to do that tomorrow probably, so it'll still be included in this vlog. Let's quickly chat about books, shall we? Because I included that in my last vlog. I feel like it's only fair to update you guys about what's been happening. I read these two books. I read Shadow and Bone and Siege and Storm. Currently reading Ruin and Rising, I think it's called. That's the third one in this trilogy. I don't like it. And I'm sad because I thought I would, but I don't. I don't like it. I don't like it. If you remember my last vlog, I was talking about how this is based on like Slavic culture. Apparently it's specifically based on Russian culture. And it's done so weird. If you're new here, I am Russian, so I know a fair bit about Russian culture. This is a very bad representation of Russian culture. And I thought that I could read it without being bothered by it too much. Maybe I could like read it and pretend that it's like this whole separate world, unconnected, and like, you know, I can't. It bothers me every single time. The main character is Alina Starkov, which should be Starkova in Russian. She should have an A in her last name, because that's how Russian names work. Female last names have an A at the end. So that bothered me every single time that character was talked about. But then also there is a character in these books called Morozova. And the entire time I thought it was a woman because it has an A at the end. And that's, you know, how it works. Apparently it's a guy. So that was a fun discovery. I had a great laugh about that. I'm like, how did you get it so wrong? That is like one of the most basic things. I don't know, I can't. It's very difficult for me to not get pissed off about things like this, because it's so very basic. And if you are trying to write about a culture I can understand if you just had like a minor character from like a culture that you're not particularly familiar with and you got like one thing wrong. I would understand if Alina Starkov was like a secondary character or something. But if it's your main character and your entire world is inspired by Russia, maybe do a little bit of research into that and how it's supposed to be. Very annoying. In the second book, my god, I don't know why this specific part made me laugh so much, but there are twins, Toля and Tamar. It's supposed to be Tamara. Like, Tamar is not a name in Russian. Tamara is a name, and that's a female name. So every time now I'm reading about Tamar, it just makes me laugh. I don't know, it grinds my gears. It's really annoying. Also, I don't particularly like the story. The first book was very much just training montages and setup. The second book was a whole lot of nothing, and then a big battle at the end that was over in like 30 pages. I don't know why I'm continuing reading it, I'll be honest with you. I don't know why I'm still reading the third one, but I got this far into it, and I'm reading the third one. It probably won't take me too long, because I read pretty quickly, but I'm sad, because I genuinely thought I would like them. And I'm also sad, because Six of Crows, which is supposed to be really good, is also written by this author, and I have lost trust in this author completely. I'm hoping that Six of Crows helps me regain that trust back. Anyway, there's my book update. Kind of sad, I'm sorry. I did also happen to buy this beauty. It is massive. Apparently it's really good. TikTok says it's good. The text is very, very small. And it's got 800 pages in it, but the cover is very pretty. I love shiny covers. And I'm actually really excited to read it. I'm considering starting that after I finish the Shadow and Bow trilogy, but it's also incredibly intimidating because it's massive, so we'll see how that goes. Anyway, it's time for me to go to bed. I wanted to do so much more today, but I'm learning, going from my mental health video, I'm learning not to push myself too hard. I'm learning now that sleep is very important. I used to edit videos or film videos or whatever until very late at night. Even if I had something to do in the morning, I would keep myself up to finish a video. And I realized that I shouldn't be doing that anymore. Sleep is very important. If something doesn't fit into my schedule with me getting 8 hours of sleep, then I shouldn't be doing it. That's my new mentality. That's my new motto. And I've also been trying to get my sleeping schedule to be pretty regular, and it has been. So I'm going to sleep. I finished editing, so that's a good thing. I was supposed to film the intro and the outro, but I can do it tomorrow. I still have some time before the deadline that I need to submit this to the sponsor by, so good times. I'll see you tomorrow. Hello. I finished working a little bit later than I would have liked today. I'm not gonna get enough sleep today. It's kind of ironic that this is happening the day after I said that, like, oh, if it doesn't fit in with my 8-hour sleeping schedule, then I'm not doing it. It's fine, I'll still get 7.5 hours of sleep. That's still a good amount of time. But the deadline for the sponsor submission was tomorrow, which means that I still could have submitted it tomorrow, but I wanted to get it done today, so I got it done today. That video should be up before this one. You've probably already seen it. Anyway, I had a fun day at work today. We're getting a lot of new content because it's like Christmas time is coming up, and also Halloween was pretty hectic. We got a bunch of new content for Halloween, so it's fun, and I feel like I'm learning a bunch of new stuff. I'm also learning kind of graphic design a bit. I designed their Halloween banner for one of the brands, and it was posted across all of the channels for that brand. And they asked me to do the Christmas banner as well for that brand, so I am excited to do that. That's really cool. That's what I'm going to be working on for the rest of the week. Pretty much. Got some other tasks that need doing, but that's pretty much what I'm going to be working on, because I want to try and get it just right. I don't have much else to say today. I'm tired. I came back from work and I did a whole extra shift working on this video. It's a tutorial, and now it's finally gone up, I've submitted it. It's time for me to go to bed. I really want to start the Patreon Not Along bracelet. I've been craving to start it for like a while now, ever since I picked out the pattern. Can't seem to get it done, but hopefully tomorrow. I also picked out another bracelet that I want to do a tutorial on, but that's a whole other conversation. I'll see you in a bit. Hello, it is in fact not tomorrow. It is in fact a few days from when I last filmed, a week from when I started. It is a Sunday today, so we are doing Sunday activities. I am working on the cross stitch project, actually. I've done quite a bit. So I'm doing like a robin sitting on like a Christmas tree branch, and I've done the belly of the robin. I've been enjoying this, I've been having a lot of fun, and the string is just dangling. And just stick that in somewhere. So it is time for me to post the second part of the Patreon Not Along pattern, and I haven't even started the first part yet because I just haven't had time to do it. But I finally have time today, so we're gonna do it together. Also, I'm thinking of repotting this plant and the big plant today because they're in need of bigger pots. And I've got the pots and the soil and everything already. I just need to figure out how to like not get the soil everywhere and how to just do it. I need to just do it. So we're gonna maybe do that today as well. Let me get the pattern up. Also, I've scoured bracelet book and I found so many more patterns that I want to do. So there's another tutorial coming in the near future. I've already like planned it out. Whenever I think of how I'm gonna do tutorials, which I haven't done in a while, because they take a long time. In a while prior to the one that I actually posted yesterday, which the sponsored video that I was talking about in the beginning of this video is up and it's linked in the description. But yeah, before that, my last tutorial was like months ago. And the way that I do them whenever I plan a tutorial is like, I find a pattern and I look how many steps there are. Like if it's not too many steps, I will do a tutorial on it. The one that I posted yesterday had so many steps, so it's like a 30-minute long video. But that's a really popular pattern and I really like it. It means a lot to me. I used to make it all the time when I was like starting out making bracelets, so I wanted to do it anyway. But I mostly try to do tutorials for patterns that are kind of short, and I found a pattern that fits into that, so maybe I'll start filming that today, but that probably won't be released for a while. I only release videos once a week nowadays, so whenever I'm talking about a video, like the Would You Rather video, for example, I filmed that and edited that ages ago at this point, but because I only post videos once a week, I haven't been able to post it yet because it just hasn't coincided with other things that I need to post. And that's a good thing, because that means that I got like a video in the bank to post, meaning that I don't have to be super worried. Like if I don't have enough time to make another video, I can just post that one. And same goes for like other stuff. Like if I'm making a video, I'm probably making it quite far in advance at this point, which I'm glad that I got to that point, because it was not like that when I first started working, where I work now. I was doing catch up quite a bit, and I've got some videos in the bank quite far in advance. Also, this one is like a video I'm filming in between videos, so technically this one is also going to be in the bank when I finish it. Anyway, I'm talking way too long. Bracelets. So I'm doing an alpha pattern. I need 10 base strings. There are 7 colors altogether. Let's pick them out. This is my string box if you haven't seen it. This is unsorted string from my last trip to Russia, which I think I did a whole video. Did I do a whole video? Either that or I did it in a vlog. Right, no, it was a vlog. It was the vlog. Either way, I'll leave it linked in the description. Yeah. And then the way that I store my strings is like in these Ziploc bags by color. So I've got like my reds, my blues, oranges, purples. These are like browns and grays. For whatever reason, I store those together. And then we have yellow and greens. I saw someone else do that and I thought it was a really cool system, so that's what I do now. I've talked about it before, but I used to like wind strings on bobbins. In fact, I did a whole like organizing my string video in which I wound a bunch of strings on bobbins, which you can still find. That's like one of my best videos, I think, to be honest. I'm pretty proud of that one. It was ages ago and it's kind of cringe, but I'm really proud of that one. It took me a while to film and do, because it took me a while to wind the bobbins, but I like that video. It was very satisfying. But I'm not doing that again. I don't want to wind strings on bobbins again. You do see some bobbins within these like baggies, but that only happens when like I start a string and then I wind it on a bobbin. So like these strings are strings that I haven't touched yet. They're not even started yet, but once I start a string, I wind it on the bobbin. Does that make sense? Hopefully it does. Anyway, I need 10 strings for the background string. That can be any color. I'm not showing you the pattern because it's a mystery pattern, so you're not supposed to see it. But maybe when the month is over, I'll link it in the description because my patrons don't know what the pattern is. so it's supposed to be a secret. I want to do like pastel colors for this one. So maybe like a pastel blue for the background, which is kind of what it is. I'll insert the bit of the pattern that I've already shown my patrons, maybe on screen so you can see what I'm looking at. But yeah, basically there's like 2 mushrooms and then a little bit of a frog, because it's cute. Something like this, but that's too dark. I don't know if I have enough of this though. Did I buy any more blues on my last trip? No, of course I didn't, because I was in an autumnal mood and I bought like a bunch of oranges and stuff. I didn't even realize that I need blues. I mean, I say I need blues, I've got a ton of blues, but I don't have like lighter shades of blue, if you know what I mean. There are a lot of like dark shades, whereas I'm looking for something like this, but more. Maybe I'll go with a variation then. Maybe I don't want to do the blue, which was like the original color here. I actually do still like this color, so maybe I'll go with this and just make it a little more darker in general, like a little toned down. Not so bright. Yeah, I'm gonna go with that. What do I need apart from that? I need a red, a white, a gray, a green, pink, and a black. White and black obviously are already sorted. A red can come from here. Ooh, these deep reds are gorgeous. This one is like bordering on purple. I don't know. Oh, I love that. Plus they look good together. I like that a lot. I need a pink for the blush. Do I have? Yeah. I'm gonna use this one. It's very little string left, but I only need like 4 knots of this color, so this should be exactly enough. Oh right, I need a gray. Fortunately, I've got a gray here, so this works. Let's pick out a green that works. Do I want a darker green or a lighter green? Yeah, I think I want the darker green. It's a very kind of dark color palette, but I think it works. It's very difficult for me to judge like how colors are gonna look like together once I actually start making the bracelet, but I don't know, it's like a dark vibe, a dark color palette. Maybe we should just go for it. Let's go for it. And now we've got 2 cute little mushrooms. I'm gonna post part 2 of the pattern and then do the rest of it at some point, maybe even today actually, or later this week. But for now, time to switch to the plant. So I've got this little plant and I think it needs repotting as well because it's pretty cramped up in there. But the main task for the day is this guy, who is definitely cramped in there. I don't really know what I'm doing, but I got houseplant potting mix, 2 of those actually, so hopefully that is enough. I got some smaller pots that only came in a pack of 5, so I don't know what I'm gonna do with the rest of them for the little plant. And then this big one for the big plant that I need to get holes into. Yeah, I guess I need to just get to it. Alright, welcome to my kitchen. I have moved the plant here. As you can see, it's not doing well. There's a lot of like rogue bits sticking out, which I'm not sure why. If you have more experience with plants, feel free to tell me in the comments. But some of them have died off and I think I'm going to trim those out or like remove them. But the majority of it is good. And then I also have the little guy here on the counter that maybe I'm going to start with actually, because that seems easier. I made a tarp out of bin bags to hopefully help with the soil. We'll see how this goes. My God. Yeah, this little guy definitely needed repotting a while ago. The roots are like circled around the bottom and the soil is like completely fused to it. I'm gonna try and clean it off a bit because I think this is what I'm supposed to do based on YouTube tutorials. Okay, honestly, I think this is about as much as I'm gonna get it cleaned. I think I'm gonna leave it alone for a while. How do I get that thing into this thing? Also, I can probably repurpose this soil. The question is, how bad is this guy cramped inside there? And also, what do I do with these half-dead bits and totally dead bits? I think the totally dead bits need to come out. Potentially the half-dead bits also, to be honest. I don't think that it's gonna be good for the plant to keep them, so I think they're all coming out like this. It smells like a forest. A lot of these ends have like completely rotted off at the root. and are just coming out, and that's why they're dead. And I'm guessing that that was the case from the shop, like originally, and not me. So I'm hoping, see, like this just comes out completely, it's dead inside. I'm hoping this helps the plant when I get rid of them. See, that one, there's no roots attached to it, it just kind of pops up. All of this was dead stuff that I just cut off or removed. Oh, look at that. You can literally see the layer from when it was last repotted. The layer of old soil, it gets revealed once you wipe off the new soil. But my God, they didn't even try. Look how small of a pot it used to be, that's tiny. It is rock hard, I don't know what I'm gonna do. That probably was not letting any water in. That was not helpful to the plant at all. But we did get some new root growth at the bottom, and that is a very good sign. Hello, so it's once again been a few days. I stopped recording because it actually took me forever to clean the roots of this plant. But it has now been repotted and is doing well. I need to get a proper dish for that. Right now it's just a plastic plate under that. It's been a week, it's now Sunday again, and it seems to be doing well. Much better than it was before, because it was kind of droopy before, and it's not really as droopy anymore. So I'm pretty pleased with that. So yeah, it took me like 3 hours in the end to probably clean the roots off the plant because the soil was literally rock hard and it was very difficult for me to clean it, but I did repot it and it seems to be doing well, so that's a good result in my books. I'm still keeping an eye on it though to make sure that it is actually doing well. Updates! It's been a week, so I've done a little bit more of the cross stitch. We're sort of nearing into that territory. This is where the wing is going to be and the head is going to be just here, and then sort of the tree branch goes in this area. So I don't know when I'm going to finish this because it is taking me forever to do, but I'm really enjoying it, so I'm okay with it sort of fading into January because I kind of doubt that I'm going to get it done before the end of the year, but we'll see how that goes. For bracelets, I have done more of the mystery pattern and I've done the little frog. Here's a closer look at that. I think I would have preferred the original colors with like the pastel stuff, but you know, that didn't turn out well, so we're going with this, but it looks really cute nonetheless. And then the last thing that I want to talk about is I probably want to update you guys on the books that I've been reading just real quick, because I know that this video is like 25 minutes long at this point. I finished the Grisha trilogy, the Shadow and Bone trilogy. I didn't love it. The third book was probably the least annoying out of all of them in terms of the Russian culture stuff, but by this point I was already kind of done with the series, to be honest. It was alright, I didn't hate it by any means, but I was really annoyed by the Russian stuff, and I also just didn't particularly enjoy the story, if I'm being honest. I'm probably still gonna give Six of Crows a go, because I know that it's supposed to be like so much better, but I need a breather before I get into that, so that will probably not be anytime soon, but we'll see how that goes. I am currently about 200 pages into The Priory of the Orange Tree, and I'm actually really enjoying it. It is very intimidating, it is massive. It's 800 pages, quite small text, and it's written in a very sort of, I don't have the words to describe how it's written. Also look at that, isn't that so pretty? But it's just like, it's very complicated, it's very dense, there's a lot of different characters, a lot of different worlds that are all connected, and we've got multiple perspectives going on at the same time. The stranger came out of the sea like a water ghost, barefoot and wearing the scars of his journey. He walked as if drunk through the haze of mist that clung like spider silk to Seiki. Don't know if I pronounced that right, but that's just like to give you the vibe of the writing style. I don't usually go for books like this, to be honest, because they intimidate me for obvious reasons, but I am of the mentality currently that like if I never really go into books that intimidate me, I'm never gonna learn how to read them, and so that's why I decided to try reading it anyway. And yeah, in the beginning it was kind of difficult for me to understand what was happening, to get into the story, to get into the rhythm of the storytelling and the writing, and there were times where I had to reread the same paragraph over and over again to even understand what was being said, but 200 pages in, I am understanding the way that this is written, and I'm finding it much easier to read, and I also feel like I'm learning a lot. There's like words that I didn't understand before, and just in general, I've very rarely read in this kind of writing style, so. Also the story is really interesting at this point. I'm very into it. It took me like a week to read, so I don't know how long it's gonna take me to read the full book, but hopefully not too much. Anyway, love that one. And I think this is where I'm going to end today. I'm probably going to start filming another vlog right after I finish this one because there's actually a lot of other stuff that I want to do, but I want to get this video up today. I'm probably going to post it pretty much as soon as I finish editing this bit, so if you're watching this on release, I'm filming this like maybe an hour before I post it, so hi, I guess. So what's next for me? I'm posting a challenge video next week at the end of the month to get a conclusion from last month's challenge and to announce a new challenge and also show you the bracelets that I did. So it might actually be a wrap up, although I did only make a few bracelets this month. Then we've got the Would You Rather video, we've got another vlog, we've got another tutorial coming. There's another video that I want to do that I don't really want to discuss yet. Point is, stuff is coming, so stick around if you're enjoying it, and thank you for watching. I hope you did enjoy it. Few things I want to shout out at the end of the video. Join the Discord server if you haven't already, that's linked in the description. We have fun there, we can chat about bracelets and other stuff as well. It's a fun place to be. And then also I want to give a shout out to my patrons and especially my top supporters whose names are on screen. Thank you so much for your support, I truly appreciate it. If you also want to become a patron and get exclusive perks for your donations, such as participating in the Patreon only nod along, or monthly Google Hangout sessions in which we just chat and make bracelets together, the link to that is in the description where you can sign up. But in any case, thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed today's video and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.